Hello and welcome. My name is Izzy Ramos, and this is my podcast. This is Commonplace. I'm joined by two special guests today. I've got Shaniese, who's been here before, and Courtney Post, my dear friend. So Courtney, just to get into it, I'll ask you a few questions, and then we'll just kind of have a day. So.
All right.
So to start off with, how old are you?
I am 27.
Oh, same.
Same as this gal.
Yeah. Okay, so then, what do you do?
I am a high school and a little bit of middle school Spanish teacher at a small community school in North Iowa.
Nice. And how long have you been doing that?
This is my 4th year.
And how did we meet?
I met you at the and I met you when I was working with your husband, who at the time was your boyfriend, and then you came on our high school trip. And then we had to share a tent that very first week we pretty much met. And it was like a really long camping trip.
And wet and buggy.
Buggy. It was so buggy.
And exhausting. It was like a survival camping trip, and it was...
It wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be a fun, go-lucky time, which it was because of the people, but I would never do it again.
It wasn't as intense as it was.
But it was intense.
And then, because, we went... So it was, upper Minnesota... And they, it was, a lot, grassier and, wetter than what they were expecting when they booked it originally, so.
And then we just went on the canoe, and we would stop at different times and camp.
I don't know what she's doing. Sorry if you can hear that in the audio. I think she's tearing apart my futon.
Hey!
I don't know how for her to choose. But yeah, so it was...
Cut it out.
A very intense trip. So we've known each other for
7 years?
7 years.
Yeah.
That's how long I've been involved with the bridge. Just involved. I've only been working there for 5 years. So
yeah.
I was a youth. It took me a minute to realize that.
Yeah, you were in high school. You were about to finish your senior year, or had you just finished your senior year that trip?
That trip, I was going into my senior year.
Okay.
Then I did my senior year, and then I got hired as a refugee rise. And then they were like, hey, our other person's leaving. Do you know how to balance a checkbook? And I'm like, I can learn. And they're like, great. Mm-hmm. And here I am.
And then I've been working there every summer since. So I come back and I work in Storm Lake. I live with Shaniese during the summers now. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, how did you two meet?
Also at the bridge. I think we met, though, and... Oh, no, I was living at the trailer by myself that summer, and then you started working at the bridge.
Yeah, I was living with my dad.
Yeah, and then we just started working together, and then Izzy, you also probably helped introduce, because you had already hung out with Shaniese, too. It's like, hey, here's our new youth program director, and so I'm like, okay, cool, and so then we all became friends through that, and then the next summer, or no, that winter you moved into the trailer, and I was like, hey, next summer I probably won't want to live there, though. So can I live with you? And you're like, sure! Thank goodness. Otherwise I wouldn't know where to live. So
yes. And you're an amazing roommate, so anytime ever you just want to come, you can.
Felt like we went right back into our old routine last night. Mm-hmm. Even this morning you were doing your own thing and I was doing my own thing. Like we did when we
lived together, most of the time. Yeah.
I've only had one roommate and he doesn't like it when I call him that.
Oh.
Well.
Is that because that's your husband?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mm. Maybe he just wants a little bit more personalized of a title.
I think it's just a strictly roommate. Yeah, they're barely even friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. After that trivia last week, we might not be on speaking terms.
And he annihilated Aaron. Although Aaron did amazing, though. Aaron's pretty good with history, which you would never guess. I don't know why. He just doesn't.
I would have beat him in math, though. We should have done math trivia.
Yeah, that's your fault.
We had Twilight, Hamilton, and history. Yeah. We did ancient history and then modern history. In the modern history, he smashed. He's good. He did really well. He roasted me. There was one that I'm embarrassed about. It was the Battle of Lexington, and I just wrote Gettysburg. And I was like, I don't know.
Gettysburg. Yeah. Different battle, but...
Yeah. See, I was like, I'm on the right track.
It's a battle, at least. I've made it this far.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And she's like, you should know the year. And I was like, no, I don't. The year when it came. No, I just know the Gettysburg Address.
It was in Hamilton.
Well, yeah, but I didn't know that.
Fake Hamilton fan. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so the Battle of Lexington would have happened way before the Battle of Gettysburg, because...
But he, like,
Gettysburg
I'm pretty
was...
sure he says it. He's like, the Battle of something.
No, that's when we were talking about the French Revolution.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of the times Lafayette had to go back to France.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that was a whole thing. There was lots of arguments.
Shaniese
like started giving herself points.
Yeah, I got a point.
They're literally in front of you. That's not fair.
Okay, but I got a point because I'm smart. I'm trying to remember what it was exactly. No, it was fucking. Oh my god! Don't even get me started. It was over freaking something in Romeo and Juliet, the Ides of March. She didn't know what the Ides of March were, and I was like, I'm pretty sure it's in Romeo and Juliet. So I look it up because I'm like, I know it's in Romeo and Juliet. Look it up. It was right. It's in Romeo and Juliet.
Ides of March is the 15th of March, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you see this?
Anyway,
I still don't know really what
and it's a classic literature, and she's over here like, oh, I know English, I know everything, and I'm like,
I never said I know everything. I just implied it.
Side note there about, this is also very important for our viewers and for you as well, because I think you would like this. If you have not seen the movie Rosaline, I don't know how to exactly pronounce it. It's Juliet's cousin.
Oh yeah.
They made that movie on Hulu. It's so good. I watched it recently, and I told our English teacher, because she's one of my best friends, I'm like, I would highly recommend it. And she's like, is it school appropriate? I'm like, besides a few swear words, which honestly are very appropriate swear words, like, just one little
If you've
tosser.
watched Romeo and Juliet, you can watch.
Yeah, because it's definitely, like, so there's one time when Juliet's telling her the plan about, like, killing herself and, like, doing the mock killing, and then, having Romeo, like, also then, like, go to her tomb and everything like that, and then Rosaline's like, that's the stupid effingest, dumbest plan I've ever heard of in my entire life. And I'm like, true facts. Like, it was a terrible plan. Like, if anyone would have heard that plan before she pulled it off, they would have also been like,
that's dumb.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
So
listen here, dumb idiot.
Yeah. So anyway, highly recommend. It's a very good, and I think it gives a very good modern take on Romeo and Juliet, and kind of makes you rethink, why did we love their love story so much?
Oh, I never did.
I didn't really either. But why is it so popular?
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's like the concept of I would die for you.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you to do that. Don't do that. No.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, it's definitely, I think it's also romanticized because we're forced to read it in, like, I shouldn't say forced, but,
it's one of the,
like, we are expected to read it in our curriculum.
We should probably read Shakespeare. I think we should do the, one that She's a Man's based off of. What's that, 12th Night? Yeah. That would be such a good one to read instead.
Midsummer Night's Dream was my favorite, actually.
I did like them.
Yeah. That's one of my favorites to read and one of my favorites to watch because it's always just like, it's just so like fantastical. Mm-hmm. Our high schoolers did it last summer.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of high schoolers in my play. I loved them.
What is that about again exactly?
It's like fairies and
okay. 4 love interests.
Yeah.
Exes. Like it entangles in all the wrong way, and basically there's just one that nobody likes. Nobody likes her. And so she's like following this guy around. This guy is like, okay, so there's these two.
Sorry, I was thinking of the names.
I know, I can't remember their names.
One's Lysander, the other one, I don't even know.
I know, like that's where it's like. So there's these two who are running away together. There's this guy who's like in love with this one, and
the girl.
In love with the girl. So girl, boy in love with this girl. This girl, like the other girl that I'm about to bring up, she has like some sort of relationship, like she's like a servant or something to this girl. This girl chases a boy chasing her. So then the fairies get involved, and the fairies are like, let's fix
them
this.
Fall in love. Yeah.
But so then, so he sees her, but she doesn't see him. So she sees love interest, the first love interest that I brought up, love interest man. And she's like, oh, I love him. He loves her now. And she, like, the other girl, the perfect girl, is, like, excluded now. This is like weird.
And then there's, like, the king of the fairies and the queen of the fairies.
Yeah, so Tatiana.
They get mixed up, but they, like, love each other, but they don't. And then...
Yeah, he tried... Oh, so the reason why the love potion comes into play, anyway, is because he's trying to get the queen of the fairies... Like, the king is trying to get the queen of the fairies to fall in love with him, when, in fact, she's already in love with him. She's just a bit...
She's just a tsundere.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't actually love you. I'm never going to show you my love. I love it very much.
Yeah.
Like,
fair enough. Yeah,
ew. Boys are gross.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And he's like, I'm going to put her in her place. And then he doesn't because he's an idiot. And then there's a random, like, there's too many plot lines, almost.
Yeah.
But it's, like, it's just fun to watch.
And there's a lot of running around and sarcastic comments and
it's funny.
Crazy
it's
donkey.
Somebody gets a donkey head.
Yeah.
Because he so the one that the fairy queen falls in love with, he gets the head of an ass. Like that's how they literally. So he gets a donkey head. And
as you do.
And so she's like, "Wow, you're so amazing, you're beautiful," and like the fairies that follow her around are like,
"Are you okay? Are you sick?
What happened to the king?" And she's like, "I only love this one now." I can't remember his name, so
there's just a lot of like plot within a plot within a plot.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Side plot, side character, side plot.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't even know what the main point would be. I think it's probably those four.
Is there a movie version of this play?
I think there is.
Probably. It's a pretty popular one.
Okay. I feel like I haven't
Into
seen
the
that.
Woods.
Oh, Into the Woods might be.
No, I haven't seen Into the Woods.
Into the Woods is similar, but not the same.
Oh, Into the Woods also bases it off on all like the Brothers Grimm characters, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
But actually more of like what would have happened to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but there's like a lot of that same like mixing up, running around crazy.
Gotcha.
In the woods type feel.
Into the Woods, yeah.
I think I have a copy of it. I think I have all of Shakespeare's plays. Yeah.
I saw the one with James Gordon. I was like, oh, it's funny.
Oh, yeah. It's a good one. Yeah, the Rosaline book, it also, I really loved it because it made fun of Romeo and Juliet because of just, like, how much Romeo actually is just so stupid and he just speaks a lot of empty words. Like, he's just like,
yeah,
you're as gorgeous as the moon and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what does that mean, though? Like, what are you talking about? What are you trying
to say?
Yeah, what do you also know about me?
He was just so in love that he just couldn't handle it.
Like, that's the one thing that I always say is they were just horny. Remember when I was talking about this and Shelly walks in and Amy and I just was like, they were just two horny teenagers. And Amy's like, is he? And I'm like, she's a mom.
She's had kids.
And what did Shelly say? I can't remember what her.
I don't think she said anything.
I think she just laughed it off.
Yeah.
Like
she probably felt a little uncomfortable.
Probably, but like none of let's see, 3 high school teachers and a married woman, and then she walks. Like, come on.
We'll be okay. We'll be all right.
Yeah. And plus, we're talking about Romeo and Juliet, and what I was basically like, they were just horny for each other. That was it.
Yep.
That's all they wanted. They weren't actually in love. Their teenage hormones were just going wild, and they were like, we just want to have sex matrimonially, like without sinning. Even though like the whole thing's about like,
and your parents suck, and my parents suck, and we just want to have sex with each other. It's fine.
Yeah.
And
so then they do, and then he's like, peace out.
Well, then he died. Yeah. I mean, I guess he gets exiled.
Well, yeah, he gets exiled, but, like, he got what he wanted.
So he was fine. He was content.
Maybe he has ADHD.
I don't think that's how it works.
Well, because he did also... So Rosaline is also the girl that he was originally in love with at the beginning of the play.
Yeah, he's like, wow, I'm in love with her. She's amazing. Oh, shiny.
Yeah. Look at the new one.
Yeah.
They look so similar.
They were... Yeah. So.
Oops.
Mm-hmm.
This one's just younger. Actually, I don't know who was older and who was younger.
Rosaline was older.
No, so, like the boy person. Like,
yeah.
Was Romeo older?
Yes.
Yeah, 17 and 14.
I knew she was like young. I just didn't know she was 14.
Some versions 12.
Yeah. Okay, whoever says it's 12 is fired.
It's fired. Yeah.
14 maybe. You're still pushing it, but 12?
Yep.
No.
This is a senior freshman relationship.
Yeah.
And then
I can't do that as well as you can.
What? Yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah. It's not good. Not good.
No bueno, as I say in Espanol.
See. But so speaking of books, what are you reading right now, Courtney?
I am currently reading Silka's Journey, which is the second book in the Tattooist of Auschwitz book series.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's a series so much as it's there is an actual person who was the tattooist of Auschwitz, and he, and then the writer kind of learned more about his story, and then there's this woman named Silka who eventually would go to Auschwitz, but then she also gets imprisoned in a Soviet Union camp because she was a prisoner because she worked slightly with the Nazis while she was in the concentration camp, kind of. Not by her choice, but she was...
She was the dressmaker, wasn't she?
No, she actually... So that's another book I read, The Dressmakers of Auschwitz. I've been really into the Holocaust realm, I guess, lately. Or there's just a lot of books that are out there about it, and then you're like, well, and then you get recommended after you read one. But no, so Silka actually, so she was taken to be a commandant's, like, wife? Not really. It's not really wife so much as, again, he wanted to just have sex with her. So she was taken to be that, and so basically assaulted and many things against her will. But then she was in charge then of one of the little homes where they would usually take them right before they were about to be executed. So she was kind of in charge of them. But again, like all this, she's still a prisoner and was just taken against her will. She was just beautiful. So the commander wanted her as his, like, mistress is a good word to use. And then put her in charge of that. And so she did get extra food rations and things like that she also could usually distribute out to people she loved. And she would try to be kind, obviously, to the women she was in charge of. But because she was slightly, like, affiliated with the Nazi soldiers, again, against her will, she was then kidnapped, or she was then prisoner in the Soviet Union camps.
That's scary.
So,
she's not catching a break.
No, but she learns how to be a nurse in this because they have to work. So it's not as big of a, like, they're basically put to work, but they're not, like, executed at this camp, which is, so it's a slight upgrade. Yeah, so it's a slight upgrade from the Nazi concentration camp, but not,
still a prison camp.
Still a prison camp, but not like a death camp. So she is like learning how to be a nurse and things of that nature, and she's really smart. So she's really good at that kind of stuff. And the doctors she works with are actually very kind. Like, one is very kind to her. And yeah, so it's very good. I'm waiting. I can't wait to find her ending. She's supposed to serve that sentence for 15 years. And she's already been there like 5 at the point that I'm reading. But I hope she gets off early. And then, yeah. But it's based on a true story. It's still nonfiction, or it's still fiction. But I know that it's based on a true story. So, yeah.
That's pretty cool. And it's the same author?
Yes. Yep.
Who's the author?
I think it's like Heather Morris or something like that. I could be totally wrong though.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Shaniese, what are you reading right now?
Nothing like she's reading.
Well, no, I know that. I just think it's gonna be really fun to like.
I don't even remember what it's called. A Torch in the Wind. Oh,
I think it is A Torch in the Wind.
A Torch in the Wind. I don't even remember what the series is called. But anyways, it's basically the opposite of everything she's reading, but with fantasy. Like this guy and this girl have 2 separate lives, and one is like a police officer basically, and the other one is like a slave in a post-apocalyptic society with a little bit of magic, I guess I should say. And so the boy is like, I am amazing. I'm top of my class. I'm amazing. I can do this. Like, nothing really bothers me, but I don't really like the way the society is run. And my mom, who gave birth to me, my birth giver, is absolutely horrible. I hate her. I want to kill her. And she is. She is like the head of the school, but like she's like a huge part of government. So like I don't know how to explain it. I don't really know. And so she is like basically training up murderers and killers, but like that's not exactly what they do. They just like keep people in line. And where this girl is more, her family is like beautiful and like they love each other and like they're just a normal family essentially. And she is what they call like a scholar. So there's certain areas of the post-apocalyptic world where they like have certain jobs and they all live in their certain areas of their jobs. And so her family is a scholar family, which means they're pretty smart and they like know how to read, they know how to write for the most part until they're like, they don't really get taught how to read and write until they're like teen-ish area. And so like the parents are really smart and they've raised their children to be smart, obviously, because they're smart. And so like one day the brother, I think he's the oldest, gets taken away.
Okay.
And they're all a close-knit family, and despite being like poor, like a lot of their like differences that they've like had to deal with have made them stronger as a family. But and so she's like, my brother, that's my brother, like I love my brother, I don't want him to be gone. And it's like very traumatic. And so her dad is already like paraplegic kind of,
okay,
because like something happened to him, and so he's like he can't really like so when like the police people come in and like take away their brother, like the father is like, I'm stuck here doing nothing. I feel like I'm doing nothing is happening, like, and the mom is like can't do anything because like if she does do something it'll like lose her job, and then like, and I think like something sort of injury happens to her or whatever, and then she's got like a little sister, I think. And then the younger sister like gets murdered and all the confusion, and so she's like basically like I have nothing, I'm by myself, like whatever, and that's the whole story of like trying to get her brother back and things like that.
Gotcha.
And so I'm in the second book of the series, and now basically happens in the first.
Okay. And you said, what's the name of it again?
A Torch in the Wind.
Okay. Is it like a YA dystopian? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where I thrive for some reason. Yeah. I don't know. I really like the dystopian like feel of books. And I also movies, like I like it. I love it when movies are like mega dystopian and not like the world is falling apart, but like the world's already fell apart and now we're just trying to get back together, or like figure this crap out.
Yeah, figure a solution.
So I just really like that. I don't know.
Yeah, cannot relate.
Yeah, it takes away from reality and nothing is the same.
Yeah, I don't like apocalypses.
Oh, it's already happened. Apocalyptic.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't vibe with that. I don't mess with zombies, and that is a filtered version of what I normally say.
Why do you not like apocalyptic?
It just freaks me out. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want to live through that. I don't want to like. I would like. I guess the like post-apocalyptic is probably like a way that like. I don't want to live through an apocalypse. I don't want to live through a war. Apparently, I'm going to, but cool, neato. So that's fun, but like I don't like that kind of conflict. I don't like.
So I guess my question is, how do you like? Because the Hunger Games is basically post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, but I also read that as a kid, and I think now I'm like a little more scared of that stuff.
Fair.
Like, and now like so I have more of attachment to that. Plus, it's also like a little more removed. But even that ending like always left me a little unsettled. Mm-hmm. But I felt like nothing truly changed.
I think, yeah, it's kind of one of those, like, books you liked when you were a kid versus, or, like, when you were a teen. That would probably be, even though we'd love to watch the movies and love to sometimes hate watch, probably, like, the Twilight series. Like, oh my gosh, it's so good to watch.
So bad.
But so bad.
So bad. I'm going to reread them because I want to re-experience that.
Yeah, as an adult.
I have things I have to finish first, but.
So what are you reading currently, then?
I'm reading Where the Crawdads Sing. I'm only, like, 10 chapters in, because it's like a lot, but I don't mind it. It's just also my dog partially chewed up my book, so I got really frustrated, and every time I see it, I get a little upset. It's actually over there. That's why I look that way.
Fake. Yes.
She's out. Like, look at
this. Luna's in here. She's asleep. But, so I'm reading that, and I'm also,
Did you buy that copy when we were on the trip? Okay.
I bought it in Minneapolis.
Oh yeah, because I was gonna let you borrow my copy, but my other friend was borrowing my copy.
Yeah, and I wanted to finish it, but I've been really interested in like the YA and like I don't know, the fantasy's a little easier for me. Like, Shadow and Bone trilogy is the one that I finished while we were on the trip, and I've been sticking with that. Yes, you do.
I just really I don't like starting books.
I know, but once you get in, it's so worth it. So I'm reading that, and it's really interesting, and I don't know a lot about like the history like behind that time and like that culture, so I'm hoping to learn a little bit more about that as I like go into it. So like I'm not far enough to like really speak on any commentary about it.
Gotcha.
So, but there's a stack of books over there. I bought myself 3 books for my birthday by Elizabeth Chandler, and I told myself that I had to finish Where the Crawdads Sing before I can read the rest, and I got those in late July. It's November.
Yeah, you're like,
you know when I got my book, like,
and maybe you just aren't into Where the Crawdads Sing right now. I will say it's a slower book. Like it's a.
But I'm intrigued. Like I get stuck. I'm interested to see how these cops figure it out and like what they're like, how they're gonna handle the situation. Because I feel like I'm gonna get really mad. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like they're like because they're like. I don't know, like, everybody in the town treats her so differently already.
Yep.
Like, and I haven't gotten that, there's been no adult, like, main character. Is it Kia? Or is it Kia?
Oh my gosh. It's like, I think in the movie they pronounce it, like, Kiana. Kind of. Kiana.
Okay.
Kind of.
Because, so I guess I constantly see her nickname. Because that's what she refers to herself as.
Right.
And so,
Kaya, maybe? Is that, like, what you usually pronounce? Yeah.
Yeah. That's, like, big, when she's young, too. Like,
mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's what a lot of, like, I see, like, every time she, like, sees anybody, they treat her differently.
Yep.
And, like, she doesn't understand why.
And have you gotten in much the relationships with her and Tate and her and Chase yet?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that part would be the
she's
part.
She's met him on the boat, so that was Tate, right?
Yeah.
On the boat. So I've gotten there. And then, but that's about it. Like, I'm pretty new into it, and I'm intrigued. Like, I want to get back into it. Because I want to figure out where this goes. Because obviously there's been a murder out in the marsh, so clearly something happened with her. Like, she was somehow involved in this in some capacity. Yes. But how, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, why would they, like, obviously I've seen the, trailer for but, like, even so, like, why would they introduce her? Like, why would they introduce the murder and then introduce her?
Right.
Like, what, like, there's got to be some sort of correlation. Like, it could be, like, because there was, like, a fight over her. I don't know. Like, I can't wait to get more context. It's also, like, so, like, it gets a little, like, I don't like that it's not linear. Like, I do and I don't. Like, I think, like, because I'm the person who reads the last page of the book. I haven't done it with this one because I didn't want anyone to get mad at me.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that with this one. This one is definitely, you can't do that with this one.
Because that's what you said. Like, you said, like, I'm that kind of person.
I do usually do that a lot, but I did not do that with this one.
Because everyone says that you should just wait it out. Like, the same thing that I'm doing with, like, Full Metal Alchemist anime that I'm watching. Is, like, just wait it out. Like, it's going to be so much more worth it if you just wait it out. And I'm like, man.
I don't know why I didn't do it with that one, because I think I don't even do it to read the last page. I think I just, like, not even to get the answers beforehand, but I love to read it and have, like, no idea what it's talking about.
Yeah.
Like, to be like, this is all going to make sense later, but I don't know what's happening right now.
That's, like, I did that with, the convenience store woman.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, you open it up, and the line that I just remember is, I am the convenience store, and the convenience store is me. That's how the book ends. And I'm like,
huh?
Like,
and so then I read it, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't remember who it's by right now, but it is so, like, it's infuriating, because, like, she doesn't fit social norms, and so then she gets with this guy. Like, I'm pretty sure she's got something going on. But, like, so she gets with this guy, and he's like, well, I don't fit into social norms, you don't fit into social norms, let's just pretend that we're in a relationship. And he is sloppy, he is mean, he is disrespectful. Mm-hmm. And she just deals with it because she's tired of everyone, like, pushing her. And so then basically he's like, she doesn't like him. Like, she doesn't like him from the beginning. And then he, like, meets her because he had just got kicked out of something. And he's like, let me live with you. I'm your long-term boyfriend, da-da-da-da-da. Like, well, like, because I think, like, her sibling just got married or someone important just got married. So, like, her family's, like, pushing her really hard. And this is in Japan.
Okay.
Like, it's even a Japanese author.
I think I actually have heard of this book.
Yeah.
Because was it a popular one on, like, TikTok?
Not that I know of.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really in book talk.
Oh, okay.
I'm not on that side of book talk.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
But, like, so he's, like, pushing her, and, like, by the end, like, she's finally, like, realized her worth. But it comes out really weird. Like, the only, like, because he's like, we might as well get married. Like, here's and she's like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. And he keeps calling her weird. Like, she had to quit her job. He made her quit her job so that she could keep going along with this relationship because everybody's like, you don't need a job, you have a husband, and so he's like, yeah. And so then she she's like she basically has a panic attack. That's how the book ends.
Wow. Because
she's like, you're out of my life. You're like, this is out of my life. I'm the only place that I see comfort is in this routine. So it's like, it's crazy. There's a lot of like left turns because you're like, why would you do that? Like, why? It doesn't make any sense. Like, what are your motivations? Like, these are stupid motivations. Like, she lives on her own, but again, I'm from the Western world. Like, I don't get all of that.
Right.
And it like definitely built some perspective, but the entire time I'm like,
what is
I hate this guy. I think his name's Roy.
Oh.
It's even worse.
Yeah, Roy. Makes me think, isn't that what, I haven't seen all of The Office, but I know, isn't that the first, like, guy that, maybe you haven't seen The Office either.
I haven't seen The Office, what do you think?
Such a popular show, wow. 3 of us who haven't seen it. Ooh.
No, I've seen Parks and Rec.
I've seen parts.
Is that a red flag?
It depends on who you're talking to. If you're talking to Chelsea, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
If you're talking to people who like The Office, yes. If you're talking to people who like who like Friends.
It's just not my interest.
I feel like I would just have to watch it with the right people. Yeah. Or watch it with people. I don't think I could watch it just by myself, because I think that's why I tried it, and I was like, eh. But anyway, I think the bad boyfriend in the beginning for Pam was Roy. So...
I couldn't tell you. I know that it's Pam and Jim, and that's the love that you want, and I'm like, okay.
Pam and Jim love, yeah. Better than some TV couples, I have to say. Like, Ross and Rachel, for example. Stupidest couple ever.
Absolutely. You know who's the greatest one, though? Leslie Knope and... Oh my gosh. I only know the actor's name. Crap. What's his name in the show? That one, in Parks and Rec.
Daniel? No.
No. And I want to feel like his name is Adam. Like, the actor's name is Adam.
Yes.
Adam. But, yeah, like, that one is like... He's like, I'm here, I'm supporting you, here we go. Like,
yep.
And I just love it. And I like that he's just like, and he's nerdy, and she's like, I love this. And like, when they got married, I cried. Sorry, spoilers. I mean, it's been out for like 10 years.
So I feel like if you wanted to watch it, you could have watched it right now. Or
you
possibly,
already have, yeah.
You possibly heard that they got married.
It was so sweet. It was so good. Like, it felt like everything was going wrong and right at the same time. And it's like one of those, like, it's like the New Girl finale. Yeah. Which was stupid.
Also haven't seen her.
I haven't seen her either. I haven't seen all of her.
Oh, I really like New Girl. It's good. They had to rush finishing.
Oh.
Like, I think they had more of a plan than they could execute.
Gotcha.
Which really sucked. Like, because, like, they basically rushed, like, the whole show is leading up to this moment, and then they had to rush it.
Right.
Which, honestly, I was really mad about the push and pull of the show, but it's still good. Makes me laugh. Everyone keeps calling me Jess, and I'm like, please don't. Jessica Day. She's the main character, and it makes me sad because I don't like her.
Oh, I did know
Relatable.
that.
Yeah. I do have some series that I'm like, I hate this main character. And everyone else seems to love that person.
I'm trying to think who I would have that for. Because I definitely, I definitely have that too. I'm trying to think of what series, like, is a good example of just where you're like, the main character, honestly, sucks.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Most of them.
That's probably true.
Like, all the Friends characters, like, much love, but also, like, they're all, like, bad people.
I don't think I could actually, like, I like Friends, but I never watched it all the way through, and I could watch an episode, but I'm actually not a hardcore Friends fan in any way, shape or form. I'm not like, woo, it's the best show.
Knows every single word.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I watch it with her, and I think that, like, I think they're great, I think they're funny, but, like, if you think about it too deeply, you're like, ooh.
Chandler's a pretty medium guy, he's just kind of
I'd say so. Well, because he's expected to make bad choices, and when he doesn't, we celebrate it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Joey.
Yep.
But, like, they just didn't do any, like, true character development, it felt like.
They were just there. Except for Rachel, she grew. And actually people are like, they think that she's the main character of the show, pretty much. Like, if you really think about it, like, I know it's supposed to be 6 main characters, but really she's the main character because the show starts with her when she meets the friend group. Mm-hmm. And then she does the most growing and kind of ends with her and Ross getting together, so... Again, spoilers, but you definitely should have known that one.
Yeah, that ended in, like, 2002?
Yeah. And you probably saw that in pop culture. So, yeah. So, it kind of does, like, there's argument to say that she's actually the main character.
So then, while we're talking about Ross and Rachel, they were on a break. What do you think about that? Is it still cheating? Do you know that reference?
Yes.
Okay.
I would have to be the situation because I think when they say they were on a break, like, I think you would have to specify if, like, this is a break where you can see other people or you shouldn't see it. Like, please, if I were going to initiate a break with someone in that capacity of a relationship, I'd be like, I'm personally not going to see anyone during this time. Like, I just really want to spend some time thinking if this is, like, what we want. I just don't think I think we just need some space right now, but I also am not going to go out and date. Then maybe the other person would, if they also agreed to the same thing, then I would say it's cheating. But if it's more like, we just need, I don't know, I feel like you just need to either break up or specify what a break entails. And since they didn't do that, then I consider it really not cheating because she didn't specify if, like, you could go out and meet new people because maybe it's not going to end up working out.
Yeah, I'm mixed about it because honestly, it's like, Well, what makes me the most upset. It was literally that night.
Oh, that's fair. That was
just and then she's already like she's finding him. She's calling him. She's like, I don't know what I was thinking. I was angry. Like literally in the same like 3 hours almost. Okay, it's been a little longer than 3 hours, but in like a 12-hour period, this happens.
I don't know if so much. Yeah, I can't decide if that's cheating or just he's just awful, which he is.
Ross
so like
is so awful.
He is the worst. So like. I don't know, I feel like for her, that should have just been a red flag of like, you know what, never mind. And he is in love with her, so it's not even like, maybe he's not that into you. Like, he actually was. He's
just that bad.
He's just that sucky.
Yeah,
he's that
toxic.
into you, and that sucky.
What do you think, Shaniese?
Oh, if I'm going to break it off, it's going to be done zippo, zero, nothing. Nothing is going to come after, nothing will come before. If I was on a break with someone, that's it, break forever, is what it is. Because I don't play games like that.
It's not a game.
I'm just saying, like, I just don't play. Like, this is not...
But do you think it was cheating?
Do I think it was cheating? I mean, see, for me, no, because we weren't...
Like, we were
I'm just
gonna
end
together.
it. Yeah, like, this is it.
Like, we were over.
I don't care.
Like, oh, wow, you already got back together with someone. Okay, well, all right. And then move on.
That probably would just confirmed for me not moving forward either way. Like...
Oh, yeah.
Which is what they ended up doing.
Ending it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. And then, well, I mean...
Because Rachel's, like, upset. She was like, seriously? Like, we have one fight and you go and you sleep with another person?
Oh, yeah. That would have definitely
been... That would have been for me.
Yeah.
I would have been pissed.
So I guess I can't really, like, say for if it was or not, because, like, for me, no.
Well, and he was, like, the thing that, like, the whole thing with the, like, I don't like the relationship, period. So, like, but the whole thing with it is, like, he's mad that she's busy. Like, she's, like, finally stepping up. She's in a place where she wants to be, like, in her job. Like, she is, like, she's finally excelling, and he's like, but you don't have time for me. And, like, he doesn't communicate that. He doesn't, like, and then it blows up. And, of course, this is TV, so of course it does. And then he goes and sleeps with somebody else.
And you're like...
Just proof. You can't communicate like a big boy, then...
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Good riddance.
And then he wants to get back together with her, and she's like, well, take accountability for what you did, and he won't.
Further proof.
We were on a break! Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we were on a break! Yeah, but you didn't define what that was, and you didn't, like, he was just hiding it from her.
Oh, I do think that they're both at fault, for sure.
I do think they're both at fault.
For not communicating, but literally, like, that just, at the 12-hour...
Like, no, like, I'm sorry, if Aaron and I are, like, separating, I'm like, dude, like, he is, like, all on Ross's side. He's like, nah, like, she's saying that she doesn't want to be in this relationship anymore. Like, why, like, it's, like, like what you think, like, why even, like, contemplate, just end it.
Right.
But, like, I guess Aaron and I are married, so it is a little different. But, like, a separation doesn't mean I want to go around and mess around. Separation means, like, hey, I just need space from you. We live together. I don't want to be near you right now. Like, I need to figure out my feelings if this is something that I can or want to work out. And granted, we're married, so it's different.
Yeah, so because if you're married, because usually that's pretty taboo if, like, you're separated. Unless you're, like, finalizing a divorce. Yeah. But if you're not finally, like, and the reason I say that is because, obviously, divorce sometimes can take a while. So, like, if you're separated because you're trying to figure out your life and you just do need space, then yeah, cheating during that time would definitely not help either person.
Yeah.
But if you're, like, separated to the point of, like, no, we've agreed to already get a divorce, and then somebody's, I mean, you should just probably wait till the divorce is finalized. But at the same time, I guess if you do find somebody and you go on a date when you're in the process of getting a divorce, well, you just have to be honest.
I don't know, like, I would just take years. I had a friend it took 2 years for her to get divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you just have to be honest with the person that you're seeing now. Like, if it's going anywhere, like, be honest. Be like, I'm getting a divorce currently. So, yes, I do have a wife right now, but, like, we're getting divorced. So, like, we live separately and all of that. But,
but like, in a relationship, like, having space doesn't necessarily mean the termination of a relationship. And, like, I am all for, like, taking that space, but you have to identify what it is, like what you said.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge, like, not to be sexist, but I think that's, like, the huge difference between men and women. Like, men are just going to be like, all right, it's done, it's over, whatever. Where women are like, oh, this is something we need to think through, we need to talk through, we need to have this discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I just need space for me right now. Like, our lives are so busy that, like, you don't need the responsibility of a relationship. I don't need the responsibility of a relationship. I'm still committed to you. I just can't. I can't do what this is right now.
Right.
And, like, neither one of them are very sympathetic in that nature in that show.
Nope.
So I get a certain way.
I am.
Yeah.
No, she's over there now.
No, I'm looking at the time.
Oh.
We're actually doing pretty well, I think. Like 10 more minutes. We're at 41 minutes.
Nice. But yeah, no, definitely not a fan. I think, you just always have to define what it is. Like, define what a break is and define what you need at the time, and then...
Well, and usually when you're going on a break, it's not because you're communicating well.
That's fair.
So.
You're like, maybe this is part of the problem. We can't communicate well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Ross just sucks in general. And
Amen.
Rachel isn't great either, but I will say she did the least most character growth.
Yeah, she did. For sure. Out of everyone.
Yep.
Like, we're trying to root for everyone, but, like...
My favorite part, though, is when she is pregnant and she's, like, crying at the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness, because she's, like, found out she might be pregnant. She's like, I don't know. But, yeah. So.
Yeah. And that's how... I do like the joke that comes after that. Well, condoms are only 99.9% effective, and Joey's like, I have to make some calls. Yeah. I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
Or is it like 90-some% effective? Or
yeah.
something. I think it's a little more than 99.9 or so. It's like 90% effective or something like that. And so he's like, I am indignant as a consumer.
Yeah, well, you like...
I better go check with all my people.
Yeah, like...
I just thought it was really funny.
And then Rachel, by this point, has become completely calm. And it's going to be, like, the most for her. But she's just, like... She just lets him take it. And she just gets out the magazine. And she's like, all right, I'll just let him have his little moment.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, because she's got it all out.
Yeah, that's true. And I think maybe with Ross, with the whole, like, break thing, is maybe he had gotten through divorce so many times and gotten broken up with that he's just like, this is where it is. So, like, we've never had...
He hasn't been through his second divorce yet.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't know where it was in the show, but I just know he had gotten divorced a couple times.
Well, technically, Rachel's one of them. But it's because they got married in Vegas.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was her and Joey.
No.
Oh, okay.
It was her and Ross, which makes it funnier.
Oh, wow.
And, like, he's like, I don't want to sign the papers. And she's like, sign the papers. Because he's like, I don't want to be divorced again.
This was almost like an annulment.
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah. So I think, like, they, like, made the joke, like, so it's, like, divorced twice and annulments once, and then...
Yeah. Oh, God, that's another red flag, honestly. Like,
absolutely it is.
His relationship...
Abilities.
Bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Or inability.
Oh, man. Oh, man, Stan. It's, yeah. I'm trying to think of the other book I was going to recommend to you, because obviously I recommended Good Boundaries and Goodbyes, which is a very good Christian book. Mm-hmm. But I also have been reading a lot of books in the last little bit.
And it's the season.
I'm jealous.
It is. It's just...
You just finished a whole manga set.
That's different. That has pictures. That's easier to read. Where it's like a book with words and all the words.
And just chapter books.
Yeah, it's hard. And I am in a weird spot. So, I don't want to finish it.
Fair, yes.
But I also need to finish it. It needs to be done.
Yeah, apparently I'm a slave in that book. Her name's Izzy.
Slave. There's a slave character. There's a character in my book named Izzy who happens to be a slave. She's dead now. It doesn't even matter.
I'm dead.
I think. There's no confirmation. I also have that app, by the way.
Oh,
so that's
Goodreads?
what I was doing, yes.
Yeah, I was looking at my Goodreads. Because I definitely know one of my books that I really want to read. Because I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, so I do want to read Daisy Jones and the Six sometime soon. Oh, I read The Color Purple, which is a classic, recently.
I found the name of it.
And it's a very interesting book. I just have to say that. And, like, I have to imagine that it was on a do not read list or, like, a banned book list. Just because it does talk about, like, just some of the words that's used in it. And then, I mean, granted, it's a very good book because it does follow, like, two women in the South, like, black women in the South, and, like, they got abused a lot. And then those kind of things. So they're just very honest about, like, what they've gone through. But then one of the main relationships, like, the main girl is pretty much gay. And so I imagine, like, because this was in the 80s, that it had to be on, like, But yet it's a classic, so that's good. But it was just very interesting reading it. I'm like, I did not expect this to come out of the 80s. Like, I would not have expected this book to be a classic if you would have told me that. Like, this is what some of the subject matter would be. So I think a lot of people should read it. It does take a little while to get into, if you're like me, who like, they wrote in very broken sentences because obviously she wasn't educated very much, so it's like letters, and so they're very fragmented sentences, and things were just like simple words, like not spelled right, or would use words that aren't actually words, and so that took a little while to get used to. But then the story like picked up, and you're like, oh, and it still was letters. Like it's all just letters to either God or to the sisters. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I actually never heard of it.
Oh. It's a movie. There was a movie too with like Oprah Winfrey was in it, I think. Goodness, other famous actresses.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look up.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the 5th one.
Number 5 on the pile.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The book that I'm reading is called A Torch Against the Night.
Against the Night.
By, I'm going to butcher her name.
Saba Tahir.
It's Saba Tahir.
Yep, Saba Tahir.
She's actually a really good writer.
Yep, I've heard her on TikTok.
I do follow her on TikTok. I love her.
I've definitely heard great things about Saba Tahir. That's how I knew, because I was like, a lot of the booktubers, I will watch booktube often, have really loved her books, like especially some of them, and then others, will say that she's very popular on Book Talk, or like people love her books on Book Talk.
She's just adorable and sweet, and like, I don't know, I love seeing her quirky side, and it just like makes her more human. It like puts a face with her book, and so like I can see where a lot of like the sarcasm in her book like comes from her.
Yes.
So it's like, that's funny. I can see her saying this.
I like that when I would read John Green books, and I think I like John Green books because I watch John Green so much on like his YouTube channel, or I would watch him on Crash Course.
Oh yeah.
And so then I was able to be like, oh my gosh, that's such a John Green comment. Like that's such John Green humor. That's who he is.
Yes.
I actually haven't read any of John Green books. I saw The Fault Against Our Stars, right? That's what it's called?
Fault in Our Stars.
Fault in Our Stars?
A Fault in Our Stars.
I have not. I think I've read the book, but I actually haven't seen the movie.
Oh, I hate the movie.
But she hates crying, so.
Fair enough.
I hate the book too, but the movie's worse.
Why?
The ending.
Ooh.
I don't know I can't remember if it follows it or not, to be honest. I just remember being like, that's dumb.
Yeah. I read John Green, and then I read Looking for Alaska later.
Okay.
And then Abundance of Catherines. I loved how stupid that book premise was. And so I don't know if I actually liked it. It's like this genius kid who only dates Catherines because of something. Like he has this, like, he just is very, like, OCD about certain things. Mm-hmm. So he's dated, like, which he's such a nerdy dude, but dated, like, 6 Catherines or something.
Oh, God.
Maybe it's a little more than that. Maybe it's only like 3. But it was like a lot of Catherines. And then he met this girl when he went away for the summer, and her name was not Catherine. So, oh my gosh, she's in a conundrum. It was such a stupid premise, but it was an okay book. But, like, I wouldn't say it's like one of my favorite books. It's probably like 3 out of 5 stars if you were going to rate it that way. But I was just like, the idea was so stupid, but it was such a John Green, like, idea. And you could just read John Green in it. So,
that's pretty good.
Could never.
One of the books that Courtney and I have read that Shaniese will never is...
We're talking about...
Chanel Miller's book.
Oh, yeah. So the Know My Name. I was like, yes. Oh, yeah.
I would like to defend myself, first of all. I don't read realistic or watch realistic things that have real people or real problems or real issues because they're real. And I already live my real life. So there's a lot of real sad in both of those things. So I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be feeling things that are real because then I know it's real. So I'd rather just stick with the not real stuff and never cry.
And see, I love
Didn't
memoirs.
Didn't we watch Banana Fish?
Yeah, that was also real. There was real things.
There was real things, but it wasn't real people.
But it's easier to separate myself because they're not real people.
Oh, okay.
It makes sense. So I can like...
That's what's Banana Fish an anime?
Yeah, it is. It's a really sad one.
I think
really sad.
Yes. But you don't know that when you're going into it
because everyone's always like, it's so sad. And you're like...
Is it really that sad?
Like, is it really? Like, you don't, like, because it's like a scary movie. Like, everyone being like, oh, it's so scary. I think everybody's reaction to Banana Fish is accurate.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when they're saying it's sad, it's real sad. But it's also very...
Like, because we were like...
Life destroying? I don't know.
Yeah, like, it's just sad. Yeah. There's, only sad things to say about it.
Life altering.
Because there's, like, things that you're like, oh, is this the sad part? Like, I already knew about,
nothing.
like, this is nothing. And then it gets to the sad part, and you're like, I was ugly crying on my living room floor at 3 a.m. Because, the story starts out so slow. And
how many, is it one season?
I think it's like 13 episodes.
No, it's 24.
Oh.
That's how I remember this. Because, it's 24 episodes, and the first, 13, you're 13 to 18, you're bored. Because
it's not very, it's not going very fast.
Like, you're just learning kind of about what they're about to go through.
The background a little bit, each character, and, I don't know, there's some sad things, there's still, gang violence. So there's, it's not, boring in the sense of, there's nothing happening. It's just, there's just, it's
why
just
do I
casual.
care about these characters?
Yeah, there's no point right
now.
And,
everybody hyped it up so much that we were like, we'll just get it through. So we're on episode 18, and we're pushing ourselves a little bit. We're like, we're only gonna stop. We're gonna stop with episode 21.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to bed. Yeah, because it was kind of late, and then we get to episode 21, and we're like,
we have to watch the next one.
We have to watch the next one. So it gets to so that was at midnight, and we get to 3 a.m. and I'm sobbing on my living room floor. Shaniese is just laughing at me. She's just laughing, and I'm sobbing. Fat tears, ugly tears. I think my husband wasn't home because he was working night shift at that time. But he came home, and that morning he saw my face and he's like, "Are you okay?"
And you're like, "No."
No. It's as hard as I cried for Punisher. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. And then so she's laughing at me, and I'm like, we have to watch an episode of Haikyuu. I'm like, I'm not going to bed with this information. So it was 3:30 by the time that she went home. It was a work.
Oh my god, I was so sad. It was so sad. I still to this day, I'm like, I don't even know how I got over that. It was so sad.
I think because I was crying so hysterically that she was like, that's I can laugh because I don't know what else to do. Someone else is crying. I'll take the other one.
Right,
so I'm
fair.
Oh my gosh, it was bad. It was bad. And I brought up Punisher, it's this slow lead up, and you're like, why do I care about these characters? Why am I doing this? And then you get into it. I watched 8 hours worth of content in one day and cried so loudly that my mom from the second floor came down to the basement to check if I was okay.
Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah.
I had that, I absolutely do love memoirs. Memoirs and real stories are if you tell me it's a really good memoir and you give me a memoir to read, I'm like, thank you! I just,
Yeah.
And then I do get really upset and I'm not huge in crying in TVs, movies, and books. I can do it. It just doesn't happen very often. And so I think, but I'll often get angry. I'll get, like at the Know My Name by Chanel Miller, I was angry a lot.
Oh my gosh.
I had to walk away a lot. But another one was, the one book that did make me just bawl was The Things They Carried. And it's about the Vietnam War, and it follows this guy and his experience of the Vietnam War. And I can't remember if it's fiction or nonfiction. I think it's based on a true story again, if it's not completely nonfiction. And so I was reading it, and there was this one scene that happened. It has to do with water buffalo. If you've read, the water buffalo scene. And I guess I hadn't really ever thought about a water buffalo. I kind of didn't know they existed. I'd only ever heard of them in VeggieTales when it's everybody wants a water buffalo, yours is mine, or mine is slow or something. And so anyway, it's a water buffalo scene, and my mom was showering, and we were in a hotel room because we were going to run a race the next day. And I was reading it for my one English class that I was doing independently. And my mom comes out, and I'm just like, ah! And I'm just bawling. And my mom's like, "Are you okay?" And I'll be like, "The book I did here." And then so my mom texted because she was friends or had my English teacher's phone number. Is I just want to tell you, my daughter is bawling. So when you have your discussion about the book next time, it's gonna be a bit rough. She's bawling. And then my teacher's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't want her to cry."
Yeah. No, that's honestly how I felt. So, going back to Know My Name, I would get so frustrated. I'd close the book and I'd be like, this bitch.
Not Chanel Miller.
Not Chanel Miller. No, you know who I'm talking about when I'm talking about it. I'm not even going to say their name.
Yeah. The man.
But anyway, so I get really mad. I close it. And immediately open it because I'm I can't wait. I consumed that book so quickly. I started it on our middle school trip.
Yes.
And then I, like, so that, like, it would be nighttime, and I'd be, like, just any light that I got. Like, I'm, like, I was reading, because I needed to finish it. And then, like, so then we get back, and I'm, like, reading, and then I ended up stopping at one point, because I just got so just, like, it was devastation. Like, it was just in my throat. So I, like, left it alone for a little bit, like, I think, like, a week, because I was like, I gotta chill. And then I come back to it, and I'm like, because it's just so good.
Right.
Like, and, our boss is about to read it, and I'm super excited for her to read it. I think, like, just to have the conversation about it, like, I think it's going to be really interesting. Like, and
I kind of want to reread it.
Yeah. You can now.
I can. Oh, yeah. I got a copy
Good
now.
luck with that, you guys. Yeah. I will be living in Fantasyland.
Also, like, Shaniese is usually near me when I'm reading, because we spent a lot of time together. And, like, so I'll get really mad, and I'll, like, and I'll go back to it, and then I'll go back to it. So there's so many things, and I just love, like, the story of, like, resiliency and strength that comes out of it. But, like, she just writes so well.
Yeah, especially for it being, like, her first book, because she just
felt like she needed to do it.
Which, glad she did.
I'm glad she did too. Like, there's so many, like, amazing things that came out of that book, and just out of her experience, and, like, there's a lot of devastating things though too.
Yeah.
And so. Highly recommend, if just look up Chanel Miller, and you'll see why we are sad, because you can find a lot of the information online, but I highly recommend reading that book. Like, it changed my perspective in some ways, but I already had that perspective, but it, like, gave, like, it's almost like a confirmation bias, where I was like, yes, like, you're saying everything correctly, like, you are, like. And I love that you're empowering yourself, you're empowering others, and you're being honest and vulnerable. Like, and I never really, like, I haven't read a lot of memoirs, so I think I kind of want to move towards that too. Like, just because, like, you, like, the way that you talk about them in the Chanel Miller one, so good. So, like, that's where
I think you would really like another good one for you, because I just know you would be like the I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy.
Yeah.
That one was a good one. Which is obviously talked everywhere, like, everyone. I don't think I've heard one bad review about it, honestly.
All right, so I do have to read it.
Yeah, like, anyone, like, on Book Talk or, like, BookTube are all like, it's great, it's great, like, so.
Well, and I'm, like, I don't know, it's interesting because it's such it's a catch-worthy title.
Yeah.
Like,
and she definitely did get some backlash for that title, but it also was very much
she knew that she was going to, and she did it.
Yeah, she did it anyways, and it's like, I mean, I think she doesn't have any necessarily, like, hold anything against her mom. I mean, she does, but she doesn't, all at the same time. But I think it's enough where she's like, I'm glad you died. You'll see, but
okay. Yeah. Because there's complexity in grief, like.
Right.
Yeah. I won't speak too much on that. So, but I do like, I am excited. That is on my, like, it's on my Barnes & Noble list.
Yeah.
Which I think is what I'm going to share for Christmas. Because so there's only, like, 3 things that I wanted, and I've already asked for them in some places. So I want a new faucet, I want Converse, and I want a new couch. Oh. So, 2 of those are realistic, 1 of them is not. But I think I'm going to, like, for people who, don't want to spend $200 to $50, because expensive, then I will send my book list.
Yes.
My bookshelf will get even bigger.
Yes. I asked for a book as a possibility for a Christmas present, because my mom's like, what do you want for Christmas this year? And I said, possibility. I've thought about it before getting that, like, book of the month where you get sent a book every month.
That's right. I've seen that. Have you seen that on TikTok, like, those ads? Maybe I get them more on Instagram than I do on TikTok. But they'll be like, you, like, pick a trope. Yeah. Or, like, you like, talk about the things that you like, and they're like, oh, well, if you like this book, here's this book. One. And, like, that's kind of cool. Yeah.
And I figured I could donate the books I didn't like, or the ones that I did like, that I think others need to read. I don't know. It was something I had been thinking about for a while, but I don't really want to spend the money on it. So my mom's like, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm like, I feel like my mom would pay for this for, like, a yearly subscription for me to have that.
Probably.
So.
I mean, what's gonna top a typewriter, though?
I know. My typewriter I do love so much. I have to get it I got the ribbon back on. I got some new ribbon, and I'm struggling, though, a little bit right now with it. So I think it needs to get slightly fixed. But my mom said she'd help me.
Nice.
So, because I was typing up a storm, and then I needed a new ribbon because the ink was getting really light. But I love it. I love my typewriter.
Yeah. Then your mom called you a nerd when you got it?
Yeah, and she also didn't think I'd use it. And I'm like, no, look how much I've written on it. And I'm like, I love it so much. Yeah, no, she thought it was the weirdest thing in the world when I asked for it. But, oh my gosh, I was so happy. And then my grandma got me typing on it in my Christmas, like, blanket covering thing. And I was just like,
yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Because it's cool.
It is.
Are cool.
It's very cool. I love it.
I think that's all the time that we have. So, any final words from either of you?
Watch Izzy's podcast.
Well, thank you very much. So again, This Is Commonplace Podcast. You can find me on TikTok at This Is Commonplace, Instagram at This Is Commonplace, and on Twitter at this_is_common. It's on the end card and it's in the description below. But thank you so much, Courtney, and thank you so much for Shaniese for joining me today. Thank you.